All right, my name is County Legislator Dave Denenberg. I'm joined today by Sean Dixon of Clean Ocean Action, Rav Friedel of Concerned Citizens of Montauk, and Claudia Borecky of the Nassau Joint Council of Civic Associations. And the reason why I called this press conference is to try to allow the general public to know something that's very important. And I have three messages today. Number one, the public is not aware that there is a Port Ambrose proposal, and that's a proposal for LNG in the waters between Long Island and New Jersey, again, just a few miles off of the coast of Jones Beach and Long Beach. The proposal for the Atlantic Sea Island from a couple of years ago got a lot more publicity. This proposal, the general public doesn't know about it. They don't know the pros, they don't know the cons. It's said that this will be a facility where tanks can hook up to the natural gas line between New York and New Jersey. The proponents are claiming it's for imports, not for exports, but we don't know much about the details. The general public knows nothing. So my three messages is, first, the general public has a right to know about the details of this Port Ambrose proposal. Second, on July 9th, the public's not aware that there is a hearing. Under the federal law, there is a hearing on July 9th at the Allegra Hotel in Long Beach, and the public comment period is 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock, where public comment is limited to 3 minutes. My math says that's about 40 people that can make comment. On such a monumental project, wouldn't you want more public comment and as much public awareness as possible? So second, I want the public to know that there is a public hearing in Long Island on July 9th, and there's only 2 hours of public comment. So I'm urging people to come down, learn what this project is about, and speak their mind. The next day, there's a public hearing in New Jersey at a convention center in Edison. I don't think that many Long Islanders are running out to Edison, New Jersey. So I would urge Long Islanders to come to the Allegra Hotel in Long Beach on July 9th. The third item, there's right now, near as I can tell, there's 22 days of public comment. There's been some talk of expanding the public comment period. Now this is all under federal guidelines for environmental quality review and public comments, and then eventually there's SEQA or State Environmental Quality Review Act requirements as well. But there's only a 22-day public comment period. We're urging, the four of us standing here right now, and on behalf of the general public, on behalf of my constituents, we're urging that that public comment period be extended to 120 days and that additional public hearings be convened right here in Long Island so that the general public can learn about the project, be included in the public process, and make their comments known. So three things. The general public doesn't know about this project. We all need to do a better job, federal government, state government, and the proponent, letting the public know what's going on. That's one. Two, there's a hearing July 9th. The public needs to know about that and to come down, and that's right here in Long Beach at the Allegra Hotel. The July 10th hearing is in New Jersey. Number three, we're asking to extend the comment period to 4 months or 120 days and additional public hearings. So now I want some of the other people up here to make their comments as well. So we'll start with Sean Dixon. Sean Dixon is with Clean Ocean Action. Sean?
Thank you very much. Thank you. The Liberty Natural Gas Port Ambrose application has been here before. Governor Chris Christie vetoed the exact same project on numerous occasions in 2011 and 2012. Yet under the Deepwater Port Act, the applicant's allowed to come back, file a new application fee, and bring the exact same bad idea to the shores of New York and New Jersey. This port would impact fisheries, would close down shipping lanes in the event of an emergency, and would severely undercut the progress we've made on our shores to keep them clean and to build healthy, robust coastal economies. If built, this Deepwater Port Act facility would be allowed to import natural gas gas, which would further our nation's dependence on foreign fossil fuels, and would be allowed to transition the port with written permission from the government to exporting natural gas, which their own consultants say exporting natural gas, 3/4 of it would come from new expanded fracking and from it getting too expensive for homeowners and businesses to buy natural gas because the cost would go up. Natural gas is selling 4 to 6 times more expensive overseas, and all the economics across the country point to us, in energy experts point to the fact that America wants to send this natural gas overseas where they can get all of that money in quadruple. So this is an export facility. This is going to impact our fisheries. It's going to close down our coastal tourism, and the public demands a right to ask questions that get answered. And also, public demands to know why the Federal Maritime Administration is renewing this application after Governor Chris Christie vetoed it and said that even in its new location out here, he would stand by that veto. Thank you.
Rav Friedel from the Concerned Citizens of Montauk. Montauk has the largest commercial fishing fleet in the state of New York. This water behind me from Montauk to Cape May is the crossroads of the fisheries. It's the northernmost boundary of the southern species of fish and the southernmost boundary of the northern species of fish. We have to protect it at all costs. We eat fish, we don't eat gas. For big energy to get its foot in this water would be an absolute disgrace. We'll turn this water into the Gulf of Mexico before we're finished. LNG has to be stopped here. You can connect the dots. We've been watching what's going on with fracking all over New York State and discussions around the country. For Liberty Gas to say this facility is for import is lying to everybody's face. This is strictly an export facility. Thank you.
Before Claudia goes, I just want to make a point. You're hearing from both Clean Ocean Action and Montauk, both where recreational and commercial use of our waterways is a way of life. And we want to protect our waterways, whether it's for recreational or commercial use. And there may be recreational and commercial fishermen that are saying they need more natural gas. There may be people that are saying they need more natural gas. Liberty has a proposal and the general public doesn't know about it. That's my number one concern. The general public needs to be able to hear the arguments both for and against. They need to be able to make their comments, and they need to know when these hearings are and how short this comment period is. So I want the comment period extended, I want more public meetings, and I want the general public to hear the arguments, because Liberty certainly, were they here, would say this would be an import facility, not export, so there is no need to expand production by use of fracking. But Clean Ocean Action is here to say that that's not true. This is a healthy debate if the public were involved, and it's not. So I'm very, very concerned that something can happen out here without us knowing. And remember the Atlantic Sea Island just a couple of years ago. Can you imagine if that was built and then Sandy struck? What that could have cost in terms of our environment, in terms of costs? So there's a real reason to always be concerned about things happening in our greatest natural resource, which is in Long Island, our waterways. Best beaches in the world, the best recreational and commercial fishing and water sports in the world. Claudia.
Claudia Borecky, President of North and Central New York Civic Association, and a civic activist advocating for our South Shore communities. I don't like the idea of huge energy conglomerates industrializing our oceans. I have several concerns that need to be addressed. I want to hear how this will impact our South Shore that is still recovering from the sand. I'm concerned about building a highly explosive terminal right in the hurricane's path. Long Island needs to know more about this project. 22 days of public comment is not enough time for the people to digest just what this project is all about. I want to see a guarantee that it will not turn around and export LNG, leading our own natural gas. So we need more time, and we're asking for 120 more days of public hearing. Thank you.
So let me just sum it up. We want more information, we want more time, we want more hearings, and we want a longer, and we want more public comment, period. Something to add from Sean Dixon.
This request is not coming just from us today, but coming from 100 our 4 organizations and entities and 126 others from across the region, from the interests of fracking, responsible energy development, sane and safe energy development, all the way to coastal uses that we heard about today. So 130 different organizations signed on to this request for more time, and that request should be honored.
Questions?
In the past, gas terminals like Broadwater on Long Island Sound didn't have much of a chance. What are your feelings on this? Are they trying to sneak it in, do you think, or?
My concern is that the effect would be the same whether it's trying to sneak it in or not. If there's not much information out there so the general public doesn't know, then the result is the same. I believe if this is a good project, and Liberty would say it is, then how does it hurt to have broader public information and broader public involvement? You know, certainly the general public knew about Broadwater, and the general consensus was against Broadwater because of a concern environmentally and safety-wise, as well as commercial recreation and fishing from a barge in the Sound. I had the same concerns just a couple years ago about an 11-acre island, Atlantic Sea Island, between New Jersey and New York. The governor in New Jersey's concern was so great that he vetoed that particular project. You heard Sean Dixon say, well, if this was vetoed only a little over a year ago, why is the same type of proposal coming up? Liberty would say, to be sure, it's a different proposal. But my point is, the general public, unlike Atlantic Sea Island, where we made sure the public knew, or Broadwater, where a lot of groups made sure that the general public knew, here, most people don't even know what the Liberty proposal is, much less that there's a hearing on July 9th and that there's only 22 days of public comment. So we want more information, we want more hearings, we want a longer public comment period, and to everyone, get out the word that July 9th right now is the only scheduled hearing in Long Island, and that's at the Allegra Hotel from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock.
Just real quick, I'm not sure if they're sneaking it through or if the federal government is forcing it through. We've got 4,000 pages of testimony to read in 19 days. Who can read 4,000 pages of anything in 19 days and know what it's all about and be able to take it to experts and have them tell us what all this means? This is being rammed down our throat while everybody's trying to rebuild both coastlines, New Jersey and New York. The big energy is trying to get in the back door.
So one of the particularities of this kind of a port is that under the Federal Deepwater Port Act, this application sat with the federal agencies for 9 months before they even told us that it was an active application. So unlike facilities proposed to be built in Long Island Sound, where there were years of pre-program approvals and public information campaigns that were mandated by law, under the current Deepwater Port Act, which regulates these kind of facilities, none of that has to happen. So the federal government knew that there was a proposal, they sat on it for 9 months, and we're being given 22 days to respond to 4,000 pages of applications, highly technical applications, not to mention the very real and legal possibility of exports from this place that weren't even included in that application. So it's a different law that mandates almost zero public participation, and that's simply unacceptable.
In this application, the U.S. Maritime Administration takes in the applications, takes in the testimony. What's being referred to is the application that's being considered with the supporting documentation, the expert testimony, is a total of 4,000 pages, which people just got. So in 22 days, you're supposed to comment on 4,000 pages of an application with all its supporting memoranda and testimony and expert reports. That's, obviously that's next to impossible. Whereas what I personally, as a legislator, am asking for is more information to the public, more time, more hearings, and for right now, I want to let the public know that this is coming and that there's a hearing July 9th, which is the only Long Island scheduled hearing right now. So the public, I'm urging the public, this is your chance to participate and join me in asking for a greater opportunity to participate.
forward.
Should the public contact their local congressperson?
Yes.
That's how they should. That's what they should do.
One way to ask for more time is to contact your U.S. senators and U.S. representatives, as well as the governor. I don't think that asking for more time when you need more information in order to come up with an opinion on your own behalf is too much to ask for. So again, more time, more hearings, more public comment, and more information. Ryan.
Is there a concern about lack of transparency involving Liberty? As far as I can tell, Liberty is headquartered in the Cayman Islands. I don't know much more information about, their ownership or their motives. Is that something that has come up?
I will defer to Clean Ocean Action and to Montauk, what's the name? Concerned Citizens of Montauk. I personally don't have enough information. If Liberty's reached out to me, I've reached out to them to try to have a meeting and learn more. But I don't have enough information on the project, on who Liberty is, on the application, and on all that testimony to say whether I'm convinced it's import only and not export. I'm convinced that Liberty is a domestic company or not a domestic company. I don't have enough information, which is why I'm doing this, because I'm afraid that the public comment will be shut off in 22 days, and no one could really ascertain enough to answer a question like what you just did. But I'll turn this over to Sean Dixon, who has done research on Liberty.
Sure, thank you very much. It's absolutely true that Liberty Natural Gas is owned by a bank account in the Cayman Islands that's managed by an investment group in Toronto, Canada, that set up an LLC licensed in Delaware with headquarters in New York City. So the transparency question here is a very significant one. It also leads to several very important questions that should also be answered, which is when you have somebody like ExxonMobil, who had proposed an LNG facility for this New York Bight as well several years ago, withdrawing because the economics weren't there, the safety wasn't there, and it just wasn't right for the region. When you have somebody like ExxonMobil making that decision, and a Cayman Island bank account is making the completely opposite one, questions are raised not only just to the thoroughness and transparency of the application, but also the ability to actually follow through on any of the safety, environmental, hazard, and emergency provisions that might be required of them.
I have a quick question. Did you say before that even though this proposal says it's supposed to be just an exporting facility, they don't need any further, changes in the regulations? They can turn it. It's supposed to be just import. They can just turn around and make it export if they feel like it.
No. If they're saying import only and the permits and approvals they get are for import only, what Mr. Dixon said, you wouldn't have to go through the same rigorous environmental process with the U.S. Maritime or the states to then convert to an export facility. You would make what he is saying, a letter application. Correct me? And a letter application is much different than the full permit application that's subject to the full environmental quality review acts.
So you believe that the import application they have now is just to get a foot in the door for their true motive, which is to have an export?
Yeah, absolutely. And we've seen this time and time again across the country. Jordan Cove LNG in Oregon actually applied for a FERC license to import only, and when they said market conditions had changed to exports, FERC said, wait a minute, you have to come back and apply for an entire new permit, an entirely new license. Unfortunately, we're actually operating under a different law that does not require that. So a change in use under the Deepwater Port Act requires written permission from the Department of Transportation, and that's something that doesn't need to go through the same level of review.
And the bottom line to involve the public is we know that the demand for natural gas is increasing. We also know that our desire to keep America, the United States, self-sufficient, and right now 97% of all natural gas is met domestically. So, our need to be self-sufficient but meet a growing demand for natural gas. Many people, whether we agree or not, say it's a bridge fuel, it's cleaner than our traditional fossil fuels. I'm not here to debate that or not. What I'm here today to say is there's a proposal, and if this proposal by Liberty is good and is import only, why doesn't the general public know about it? Why isn't the general public getting more information? Why can't we all ask more questions at more than one hearing and for more than just 22 days? So our request right here, more time, more hearings, more information, and more comment should be